You've spent the last few years watching people how they turn trading into a fantasy that you'd like to take a part of. And I understand it is exciting. It pulled me in too. You somehow know that it feels like a scam, but you still fall for it. You want to believe it that you can be that exception as well. Teenagers in Lamborghinis, 20-year-olds making $12,000 before breakfast, people telling you that 401k is slow, it's boring, it's outdated, and that financial freedom is just one strategy away. While the money was a pretty big thing for me, I would say that my engineering background and the fact that I like to think in systems, optimization, probabilities, all of that captivated me. It was almost like I was trying to solve the ultimate puzzle. And despite of my motivational factors, over time I realized something very interesting about human psychology. Our brains are unbelievably attracted to fast rewards. There's actually a reason why casinos make so much money. There's a reason social media works. And there's a reason why dopamine driven apps dominate our attention. The human brain is wired to overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue slow compounding. And this is super important, so I will repeat it. The human brain is wired to overvalue immediate rewards and undervalue slow compounding. Fast money feels alive. It feels like living in the present. Slow money means invisible. It is opposite of being present, as it is our subconscious that it's doing its thing in an automatic fashion without us ever being aware of it. And trading sits perfectly in that psychological trap. You can open your phone and potentially make money within few minutes. Your brain gets instant feedback, instant excitement, hope, and validation that what you did was good. Meanwhile, if you opt out for traditional investment, this feels like watching paint dry. It is very slow. Nobody gets excited putting money into Roth IRA. Nobody feels powerful maxing out the 401k. Nobody brags online how that they contributed constantly for 30 to 40 years because the reward is delayed. And what we as humans do is we struggle. We struggle emotionally with delayed gratification. And that's especially a fact today. Everything around us is training us to expect speed, fast delivery, fast entertainment, fast success, fast money. So when somebody online tells you, why do you want to wait until retirement? Why lock your money away? Why grow slowly when you can actually day trade? Why trust the 401k? Do you want to work your entire life just so you can retire when you're old and you're sick? Don't you want to enjoy life while you're young? And your brain wants to believe it. Mine did too. And honestly, part of me still wishes it was that easy. Because, I mean, come on, let's be honest. Who wouldn't want financial freedom faster? But one thing I eventually learned is that probability matters a lot more than excitement. And probabilities in trading are brutal, not because making money is somehow impossible, but being consistently profitable over years is extraordinarily difficult. And that's a completely different thing from making money once or twice. And this is very common. I mean, you can see this with people online. They make a tons of money one week and they'll brag about it for the next year or so. But they don't brag about this for a decade because at some point they lose it all. And I think this is where maturity starts to enter the conversation. A mature person doesn't only think, what if this works? They also think, what if it doesn't? And the second question is what changed my entire mindset, because for years I genuinely hoped that trading would become the thing that accelerated my financial freedom. Because for years I genuinely hoped that trading would become that vehicle, that thing that will accelerate my financial future. And maybe one day it still will. But deep down, I don't think I ever fully trusted it enough to bet my entire future on it. So even while I was learning to trade, even while I was chasing faster money, I still kept investing traditionally. 401k, Roth IRA, long-term positions, the slow and the boring investing. At the time, it honestly felt like a little bit disappointing because I didn't want to feel ordinary. Why do I want to choose the ordinary path? You put money in and nothing happens. Nothing happens for months, for years. And everything just feels very, very slow. Meanwhile, you go online and somebody claims that they doubled their account in 1 week. So emotionally, the slow path feels stupid in the beginning. But you need to remember one thing. What you do with a long-term investment, at least 401ks, Roth IRAs, you set the withdrawals to be automatic. It is not something one needs to do every single day. You don't expect to see this money anytime soon. To decide to pull them out, this will cost you a penalty. So what you instead do is you just send your check to some institution, and after a few months, you really stop thinking about it. It's really that those first few months, once you start long-term investment, that you kind of like overthinking it about, oh, when am I going to make my money? When am I going to make my money? And what happens after a few years is something super interesting. You all of a sudden remember, let me just check, like, how's my account actually doing? And it's then when you see that compounding becoming visible. And when that happens, everything changes psychologically, because suddenly you look back and you realize, wait, this actually grew a lot. And it wasn't because you were a genius, and it wasn't because you found some secret strategy, or because you discovered some sort of hidden indicators, but because time itself became the multiplier. And it was super simple. It was super easy. You were just doing what pretty much everybody used to do in the past, and a lot of people do these days too. They invest for the long term, for retirement. So compounding feels weak at first, but then suddenly it becomes unbelievably powerful. And honestly, once you start seeing it happen in your own account, it actually starts to become exciting. You begin to realize why people like Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, they preach patience for decades. Not because they lacked ambition, but because they understood something that most people emotionally struggle to accept, that slow and probable usually is what beats fast and unlikely. And this is especially true over long periods of time. I think that social media has unfortunately distorted this badly, because nobody online shows the emotional stability of slowly building wealth. Or if there are a few cases, there are just few of them out there. And that typically doesn't go viral. What goes viral is a fantasy. It's turning $1,000 into $100,000, retire by 25, or quit your job in 6 months if you're trading options. And maybe for a tiny percentage of people that actually happens. But many people only see those that survive. They don't see the thousands that quietly failed. They don't see the years lost chasing something that statistically had very low odds. And that's why today my mindset is different. I still love trading. I enjoy the chart. I still study setups and take trades, but I no longer expect trading to rescue me. That pressure alone destroys many traders, because when you need trading income, you actually stop thinking clearly. Your fear will increase, the desperation will increase, the overtrading will increase as well. And ironically, the people most likely to survive long enough to become profitable are often the people who protected their foundation first. That's why my recommendation is very simple. Protect your base first. Take advantage of your 401k if possible. contribute to a Roth IRA, build an emergency fund, reduce stupid spending, stop trying to look rich online. And then, if you genuinely want to trade, take a small amount of money, an amount that won't destroy you, an amount that won't destroy your future if you lose it, and use that money to learn, to experiment, and to make mistakes. And maybe over time, you will actually become consistent. And that will be great. But if it takes longer than expected, or if it never really happens, then your future is still intact. Thank you again for your attention, and until next time, bye-bye.